Hey guys, it's Eric.
It's Tim.
John.
We are D&D Miniature and Board Games. Hey, so we just got done playing the Highlander, the board game. We also added in the Princes of the Universe expansion. This is a game by River Horse Games. It ran on Kickstarter a little over a year ago, funded, and was recently released to stores in the last few months. We picked up a copy from Discover Games along with the expansion. Decided tonight, after we did the unboxings last week, to go ahead and play it. Children. And after we got done playing it, you know what we do. We review it, guys. We tell you what we thought about the game. We review on 5 basic categories: graphics and artwork, rulebook, components, replayability, and overall fun with a scoring scale of 1 to 5. 3 being average, 1 being horrible, 5 being outstanding. Graphics and artwork, Tim always takes graphic and artwork first.
I like the use of photography and the use of original art on the cards. I thought the dashboards were done pretty neat looking. I liked it. I thought overall it was above average for the type of game it is, and I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I'll jump in next there. Graphics and artwork, I also gave it a 4 for what Tim was saying. Using different photos, or what do you want to say, that's actually pictures out from the movie. I thought that was great how they put that on there. They kept it to where it was lively, had color, even going in the, it wasn't a bland rule book. They gave, I know we're not in the rule book, I'm just talking about the graphics and artwork that's in the rule book too. It wasn't a bland read. So I stick with my 4. Sir, go ahead.
So graphics and artwork I as well gave a 4. But my reason is it's like Tim's, but kind of not. My thing was that they went with movie stills and then artwork also. I would have preferred they went with one or the other, and with the plethora, that's the word, of stuff they could have used from the movies and even the TV shows, I don't think they would have had a hard time finding enough images to use for this game. That was kind of my sole problem with it, that they went back and forth. They should have stuck with just one, especially if they're using the stills, just go with the stills. But they still got a 4 for me. I liked what I did see. Rulebook.
Don't we do components next?
Did we do components next?
Well, we're going to do rulebook next tonight.
We'll do rulebook. Rulebook I gave a 3. One of the things that I didn't like, I was watching some of the playthroughs before, and they kept talking about adding a die if you were the first person in the area. But it's not anywhere in the rule book. I'm sitting here looking through a rule book, looking through a rule book, looking through a rule book. It's not there. The only place it is a line on the board itself. Now, granted, you can't put everything that's in a rule book that's on the cards and stuff, but if it's something that is on the game board, at least put it in the rule book as well. That way people are, expecting it. Now, obviously, if you look at the rule book, in the setup thing, it shows the board, and it does show the board where you can read it, but it's not actually in the rules that, hey, if you're the first one there, you get to use an extra die.
But technically, that's in the rule book.
So what you're saying is it's in the rule book, but not in the rule book.
It's not actually a rule, though. It's part of a picture.
With a rule on it. In the rule book.
I also didn't find some of the things in the rule book clear, which, hey, we'll add that into not clear. Tim?
I gave the rule book a 4. Reason being is
The world ends.
It takes you man, I'm tired. It takes you step by step with the setup, and then walks you through gameplay, and that's basically what you need to play the game. So, and it was left to right, top to bottom. It's how it's supposed to be done, and that's the way it was done.
Well, what is it, like 9 pages anyways?
Yeah, it's not a very big rule book at all.
John?
That's good. Rulebook. I gave the rules a 4 on this. A little bit about what both of you were saying. It goes in. It's not overly complicated. You do have to look at a few things. Like Eric said, that there's stuff if you're going to just find what's there. You actually have to. They're using the pictures. They're using things to spell things out. I think just an attempt just to do something a little different, to have it not be just all the block text. So for me, while some of it was a little different, like when you get to the beheaded part, we talked about that with the gathering. Okay, is the beheaded part only in the gathering? But no, we debated that. But I stuck with a 4. I just thought overall it made enough sense. It wasn't the best rule book that I've ever read, but it did cover things pretty well. And I was happy with it. I'm sticking with a 4.
I forgot that. They should have put the beheading part right after duel. It was like out of place.
Yeah, that was the.
Well, that's what everybody wants,
The gathering.
So,
I like.
From the man who's never watched Highlander.
so there was a gathering in the Highlander?
And on to components, folks. I gave components a 3.
Is that a yes?
I just saw the components as being basic. One of the things I didn't like was I was actually trying to sleeve these cards, and I was only able to find one set of sleeves at one of the stores I went to that almost fit. I mean, they fit width, but length they were still too long, and it's just an odd size card. It's one of the things I didn't like. I understand why, because it fits with their dashboard, and that's one of the things I like about the cards and the dashboard is how they designed it for your power cards to line up, where you put your allies and your weapons, and you have a spot on it. It says on the side to keep your quickening tokens. But for being the main component, I mean, literally besides the board, this is like the main component. You needed to go thicker than cardstock. This is just too easy to tear up, bang up, ding up. Maybe you're not expecting people to play it very much. Maybe you're only expecting people to play it and go, that was fun, and then put it on the shelf for the rest of their lives. I don't know. But you should have made the dashboards a little bit larger. I don't know why you're looking at me, John, because you know you want to borrow this and take it home and play with the kids. And John, components.
I was saying that was evil because that's what I was going to say. So components, I actually rated components a 3. A lot of the stuff that Eric was saying were kind of my issues with it. So the cards, while he mentioned not being able to sleeve the cards, to me, is just, they don't feel to me to be a very thick card stock for the cards. So as you're going in, you're playing it, shuffle, I think you're going to definitely have a lot of wear. These cards are not going to last a very long time if you're playing it regularly. And again, with the dashboards, while it's nice the way it was set, and this, I know graphics and artwork, to me it was a little dull, but the thinness of it is just, you heard it from Eric, it's not what I would expect for something to be higher than a 3. If they would have gone with the thickness that they did of the main game board,
The game board.
yeah, whatever that is called, besides the game board, that I think that they could have done that. They could have still kept it within their packaging box thickness, just something so that, I mean, to me, honestly, this can be a bookmark. I mean, we're looking at about that consistency, and I just, one wrong thing that happens on the table, and this is going to be bent up. So that was one of the main reasons why I had to go 2 or 3 other components. The miniatures, I liked the minis. I did like them. They weren't some of them I was a little bit questioning on the detail, but I mean, to me, they were pretty good. They weren't the drop down. I got to get it for the minis, but I did like the minis.
I gotta add in because I did forget. I actually forgot about the miniatures. I'm still staying with a 3. They look really nice, and then when you go start painting them, they just don't have a lot of detail. Even facial features, there isn't a lot there. It's got detail, and they're nice from a distance, and they painted up okay, but they look a lot better before you start actually painting them. Once you start painting them, you start to realize that there are things that just could have been better. But then again, I think their size puts toward that. It's not really a 28. More like I said when we were doing the unboxing, like more like a 20 to 22. And you're not going to get a lot of detail unless you're like World War Games or something that does those for a living at that size. But I still stay with a 3, Tim.
I actually gave it a 4 just for the minis. I thought the miniatures, the few of them that are from the movies, they look like those characters. Granted, you're right. You get up close, maybe the detail goes away. But I mean, you can tell. You can look at the ones from the movies and know which ones you're looking at and who they are. And I thought the miniatures, in that aspect, kind of took it up. I did think that the cards were a little thin, but at the same rate, for the type of game it is, it's kind of what I would expect. And there's a lot of cards, so there's a good variety there. So that's going to add into fun and replayability as well. But they are components of the game, so having a variety is important as well. So stick with a 4.
Replayability. I gave replayability a 4. The reason I gave it a 4, you got 14. If you get the expansion, you have 14 characters. Which, if you're playing even if you're playing Nash and McLeod, the different era, younger McLeod, older Nash, older McLeod, younger McLeod, however you want to put it, they've got different characteristics. They've got different powers because of experience. You got 4 optional ways of playing. There's team play. There's 2-player. There is where if you die, you get to bring another immortal into the game just so with no quickening. And there was a 4th one too. I just can't remember exactly what it was. Also with the selection of the era cards, I thought you've got a lot of extra. So you're going to have different cards in there throughout the game. So the change of that, the change of cards, the amount of the hunt cards, you've got a good selection. So I gave it a 4. I think it's got above average replayability. But I will say that, and see, you got it right there. The initiate quickening was the 4th optional, and that's when you drop off some of the cards out of the era deck. If you want to have a quick game, which this still hits me as it should be a quicker game, you would want to take some of those era cards out so that it gets you to the gathering that much faster. Because it takes a while to get through that era deck. You actually kill people off going to the arena more than you do the gathering. There's only 2 people of the 4 of us left. That was it for me.
So replayability, I'm gonna stick with a 4. A lot of the stuff that Eric said, I feel the same way. With the cards, you always have. You never know how it's going to be when it's shuffled out. You have enough different decks there that it's going to play differently. You get into the arena cards going in. That changes anytime you do end up into the arena before you get to the gathering. So with that and the life cards that add on there, you're changing your powers. You're just able to do enough that even if you play the same character, you're probably not always going to have it be set up the same way. You're going to have the different weapons. So with that, you're going to be able to play it play the same person and have a completely different experience multiple times over and over again. So I'm going to stick with a 4. Good replayability.
Well, I guess maybe I'd over scored, because the reason I gave it a 5 is the same reason that y'all gave it a 4. I think the variety of the cards adds to the replayability. The amount of playable characters adds to the replayability. You know, the different versions of the game adds to the replayability. I just think that this is a highly replayable game, and it would just about have the same enjoyment as like your first time playing. Yeah.
Cool. So it's one of those things, folks, when we do score, it's blind scoring. We don't know what the others have done while we're doing the scoring. Even if we come up with the same thing, sometimes we think it's higher or lower. Just how it rolls. Overall fun, Tim?
I gave overall fun a 4. I thought the only thing that deters from this being a 5 on fun is the excessive amount of downtime. Because you potentially can pull, God forbid, you get some of these higher die and you're pulling 10 or 12 cards and you got to read to see which one you want to try and play. You know, it takes a little while, especially for people that don't read very fast, like me.
And Glenda.
And me. And you.
Yeah.
Because you're watching this and not reading it.
Well, that's because we don't have subtitles.
We can put subtitles.
Oh.
But I gave it a 4. I definitely think it's a above average fun game. Mainly because, it's stuff from a movie, so you know some of the characters, you know a little background, plus the backgrounds in the book for the characters. It just adds to the ambiance.
Yes.
I think that was a cue to you, John, for fun.
I was trying to take off with the
Ambiance.
Fun. I also gave fun a 4. Really, a lot of the stuff that Tim just said is exactly one of the reasons why I really, for replayability and fun, the card, that downtime when you're reading through doing stuff, or if you don't play with the optional rule to where you sit out, that could definitely be something when you lose your head early on.
You run into a buzzsaw.
It can end up where it wouldn't be. It really wouldn't be that much fun, especially if you're playing with the full card setup as we were set, the way it was intended to be, or for at least for us to play it through so we could make a judgment. So with that, it's still above fun. No matter how you set that up, whether you're going to have it long, short, because you can make it be a shorter game, go with the optional rules, you're going to have fun playing it. And the fact of, if you were someone that watched any of the Highlander movies, the TV show, whatever you did, he's right. There can be only one. It wasn't either of us. Yeah. But you're going to have fun with it, and you can throw lines out there. They even mentioned something, because they added some stuff on the card.
All the cards had lines on them.
There were there, and some of it is straight out of the movie, and they even made a reference in there. If it's in italics, it's a direct quote from the movie, and then if it wasn't in italics, it was just something that they made up by the creators. But at least, hey, you can sit there and spout lines out, even if you don't remember the person from the movie.
Mine was made up.
And that's right, you were made up. 4! Go ahead. Yeah, you can be only one. We know you're lying, okay?
There can be only one, Highlander. It was not me.
You died.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I got creamed right in the start of the game. I gave fun a 4 though.
You gave 4 of them.
4 fun. I gave fun a 4. I think that to have more fun in this, you really have to use the initiate the quickening rule, which you cut down the error cards. My opinion, I'm sorry, I look at this game and I see this game should be about 30, maybe 45 minutes long, not like an hour to an hour and a half. And there is a lot of drag time with the reading of the cards, but I think with the more experience with the game, that might quicken up. Because people are going to know, well, do I want power? Do I want conflict? What do I want? They're going to know when they pull those cards after a while.
The quickening. Now I get it.
But yeah, I think that playing in the future, we would drop those cards to have that and use that initiated quickening. But I think also we probably would want to use that. What's that one that the new challengers? I like the idea of the new challengers. You bring in another character when you're killed. You don't get quickening points right off the rip, but you get to start playing next turn.
Right.
That's not a bad concept, and it eliminates the player elimination till the quickening. And also makes when you go to the gathering, makes it more interesting because you're going to have 4 people in the gathering.
Possibly.
And if you remember, I believe the beheaded only kills the person with the lowest power roll. So if you have 4 in there, it could go 4 rounds before one person's left alive. Or 3 or 2. Or, you know. But,
Roll ones.
yeah, I gave fun a 4. I enjoyed the game. It's one that I can see myself finishing painting all the characters because I got over half of them done. And I can see us, pulling this out, using the optional rules, playing it again. Because if you cut down the era cards where instead of 4 cards per person, you cut down to maybe 1 or 2. And then you use where you bring in the new challengers so that people aren't sitting out. Number 1, you jump through those era cards faster.
Right.
And number 2, you're going through the new characters where, the old characters become more powerful because they're down to like 1 or 2 people. But if there's still 4 people playing, that can take that away from the one person getting really powerful going into the gathering.
Oh yeah, I would. That's the one thing I'd say. I'd highly recommend run with the new challengers. If you haven't played this, you're watching this review just to get an idea. Take it when you pull it out. Yeah, you can run it the way that we said, but do the new challengers because you're gonna have more fun that way. And just trust us, you'll have
And more movie lines.
Yes, it's great.
This was
Hey,
a movie?
No,
Oh, God.
it's a book. Wait, movie?
Actually, I think there is a book. But movies, cartoons, TV shows.
I thought this was based
There
on
may
true
even be a
story.
video game, I think.
I thought there was only one.
There can be only one.
Oh, but there's more.
Until Michael Ironsides comes in there, and there's more than one, because, the original second movie was they were aliens.
You're right.
The movie 2 and 3 just skew the whole thing. Except 3, I like the fact they fought on holy ground. You got to see what actually happened. That was kind of interesting.
No Duncan.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, overall score 3.9.
Woohoo!
Damn near 4. 3.9 for overall score. Remember, folks, we utilized... Oh, let me get one. No. Huge Miniatures were nice enough to send us some of their flowers and tufts and static grasses on top of what I already own from the company. So we utilized those on the basis for these figures. You'll see some close-ups of these figures and their bases here and in the playthrough. Great company. Check in the comments section to see a link to their oh my god. You'll see a link to their Facebook and their website so you can order some of these products. This is what I use on all my miniatures now. These guys can attest to it. My Legion, these guys, the Mutant Chronicles, Siege of the Citadel figures, pretty much everything I'm using now, I use the Huge Miniature static grass tufts, and flowers with. Also, we'd like to thank Zen Bins for their last Kickstarter. We used their card holders and their token holders while we were playing the game. And special thanks to Discover Games, who we bought this from. Where's Discover Games, guys?
Fayette,
Phil,
Jor,
Joe.
What did I do to deserve this?
lost your head.
First.
3.9, guys. As always, game on.
Game on, folks.
Game on.